Here's the famous John D. Spreckles at one of the most dramatic moments of his life. It had taken years of work by hundreds of track crew laborers, millions of dollars spent, and countless tons of earth moved, all so that this day could finally come, so that this first train could arrive in San Diego not from Los Angeles, but like the emblem said, theoretically at least, from Arizona and points east. Recognize this, today we know it as the Amtrak depot, all trains coming from Los Angeles. But take yourself back in time 70 years and imagine how much San Diegans wanted this building to also be the western terminus of a transcontinental railroad. We wanted a railroad from San Diego directly to the east.
Only problem is, you can look to the east and see there are mountains out there and a desert beyond. That's no place to build a railroad. But you know, in 1906 we actually began to build one, not by heading east, but by heading south.
South to the border and into Mexico and across the state of Baja California Norte to Tecate and then back up into the United States at Campo. But here the tough part was just beginning. The big money for the project was coming from the Southern Pacific, and then they decided San Diego wasn't important enough to continue the work. Enter John D. Spreckles, not only with his enthusiasm now, but with his money, as the most difficult part of the project was ahead, the laying of this track through the Laguna and the Jacamba Mountains.
It really was a spectacular engineering accomplishment. There were more twists and turns and trestles and bridges and tunnels than on any other comparable stretch of railroad anywhere in the country. An absolutely beautiful ride.
Imagine crossing Campo Creek, skirting along the edge of rock canyons, crossing the mighty Carrizo Gorge 1,000 feet beneath you, and then into another of seemingly countless tunnels. It is not forgiving land. Earth slides, storms, and fire have taken their toll over the years. Only major repair efforts by work crews in recent times have helped to keep the line open at all. There are still long stretches of track that are in reasonably good repair, but almost from the beginning, the San Diego and Arizona, later to become known as the San Diego and Arizona Eastern, was bedeviled not only by natural misfortune, but economic. After all, this was supposed to be our main line for new residents from the east.
But it never worked out that way. The more profitable passenger service continued to be in toward Los Angeles, and the operators of the San Diego and Arizona Eastern found they could make much more money by hauling freight.
In time, even that stopped. Still, John D. Spreckles would be pleased to know his railroad is even yet very much alive. Today, the San Diego and Imperial Valley Railroad runs on part of the line, which is owned by the Metropolitan Transit Development Board. They operate the trolley on the old stretch between San Diego and the border. And the San Diego Railroad Museum has trains out of Campo, sometimes going as far as Jacamba.
Today, except for the San Diego trolley and the special excursion trains run by the San Diego Railroad Museum, there is no more regularly scheduled passenger service on the old lines of the San Diego and Arizona Eastern. But don't count this railroad out, you know, just as sure as you're absolutely certain that they're going to tear up the ties and the rails and close this railroad out for good, it has a way of springing back to life. This railroad has more highs and lows emotionally and literally than any other railroad in the country, I am sure, and I hope you'll agree it was well worth including in our brief railroad history here about San Diego.